So, uh, what's up, affected, and welcome back to the Nerdy Effect. And I know that we said that we were going to do a break for a while, and I'm still holding myself to that. But when we lose, like the word icon doesn't even begin to start the word process for Stan Lee. It just doesn't. There's not one because what he did molded and shaped society. He changed games and broke down barriers that most people aren't even aware of. He brought ridiculous amount of thought towards things that were happening in real life situations, and it's honestly a true loss. The last time I think that I felt this way was when Muhammad Ali passed away. It was the same kind of legendary status where there'll never be one again. If you guys even understand what I'm coming. Illuminati? What? Illuminate? What the fizz? But anyway, so I figured let's get on, let's chat about it a little bit because, people have different opinions. People have different feelings. All I know is how I feel.
Oh, you're
Joey!
coming back for more? Well, the fish stick says, bring it!
But everybody has their own opinions and own feels and own thoughts and stuff. And, that's what we do here is we talk with each other and with the world. And we talk about how each other feels about it. So how Stan Lee affected my life is significantly different than how it affected somebody else. So I'm very curious. I would like to see what you guys think. And Joey, thank you so much, man. It really does appreciate that. Yeah, he never retired. Not really. No, definitely not. I mean, he was always there. He was always influencing and stuff like that. Fatality, get your damn hands off my man meat. Who is your man meat, Joey? Joey was supposed to change his name, I believe. So I finally got off my lazy ass and I fixed this stuff on the side right today. Doing a little tribute to Stan Lee. And he did create these characters right here. If you think about it. Want to scrap? He also created the Fantastic Four, most of the Avengers. There's enough Joey to go around for everybody. How you doing, Swap Meet? He was on my bucket list to meet him this year. I understand. I do. As I put on my Facebook, he created escape for people. He did. I mean, he really 100% did. He built worlds and universes for people to get lost in and connect with these heroes. And one of the biggest reasons as to why Spider-Man is probably the biggest legacy that Marvel will ever have is because he created Peter Parker. And Peter Parker was relative to what other people who were reading the comic felt like. Like he had acne and he couldn't get a girlfriend because he was shy and things like that. And people reading these comic books felt what he was portraying. And then he could be able to overcome this to defy evil and all that kind of stuff like that. Let's go tomorrow. We're taking today to remember Stan Lee, the big D man Lee. It's true. It's true. And you're right, Buka. You are. You're 100% right. People escaped reality through comic books. And that's partly how I felt about it as well. He was a sense of normal for us growing up in our chaos. I agreed. Very much, Yoda. Agreed. And no matter who you are, no matter who you are, everybody in this show was affected by Stan Lee. Stan Lee has always been a part of your lives. That goes all the way back to the damn sea chickens and listwits of the days. Like, think of this. Stan Lee was a household name before sea chicken and listwits were born. That's how long he has been that household name. It's crazy. Like he's always been there. And, it would be very naive for me to think that this day would never come. I mean, it's inevitable. But I find lacking of words, and it makes me sad that I don't have the right ones. So, let's see here. Yeah, the X-Men, Amazing Spider-Man cartoons in the 90s. is where I like the characters. I mean, that's true, Allie. That like, and then if you know the last episode of Amazing Spider-Man, the cartoon series, actually featured Stan Lee. Not really, man, but coping. Yeah, Budka's under the weather right now, and yeah, Buka, I hope you're feeling so much better tomorrow. He was born shortly after World War One. Imagine the shit he's seen in his lifetime is true. I think I'll miss his cameos the most. I hope there's a backlog of cameos at Marvel. There probably is. There probably is some kind of like little secret stuff because you know they've already filmed Avengers 4. They're already done filming. All they're doing is editing that crap and getting the final little things. So you know there's going to be a Stan Lee cameo in that freaking film. There's going to be. And try not to tear up when that happens because it's going to be something either beyond comical or like heartwarming. It's going to be one of the two. Like you're not going to be like, there's Stan Lee again. Bam. You're not going to be like that. You're going to be like, oh my God, that was perfect. What's going on, Raven? How you doing, buddy? Do you think, I don't think so. I really don't, Joker. I cannot imagine them CGIing Stan Lee into it. Like if what Paul said, if they filmed it, they filmed it. If not, they're not gonna do that. I hold Disney in a higher regard than that. Yeah, Dan, 100%. We are going to miss Stan Lee because, like I said, he's always been a part of our lives, no matter who you are. And he's, whether you read comic books or like comic book movies, I mean, most of us here are nerds anyway, so we're all in that world. But, like, he has affected society outside of it. I talked about it. There was Stan Lee's favorite Daredevil book that he ever wrote, and I actually have it. I don't think I have it on hand to grab because trying to set all this stuff up was a little taxing. But he was talking about World War, I think it was a Vietnam vet. It was a Vietnam vet that was wrongfully accused, and that was a lot of stuff that was going on at that time. And he put a lot of effort into writing this character for the Daredevil series so that you could bring light to a situation not a lot of people were shedding lights on. And the same thing with breaking down race barriers. You got to think, he was born in 1922, 29, somewhere in there, 1920s. So he grew up with all this stuff and then having to change the game. Amber Nicole, thank you so much. Change the game and change how society viewed, like, people. He was on the forefront of that, making amazing characters such as Black Panther, Falcon, War Machine, you know, making people go, wow, this is what people should be like, is normal. But 1922, I knew it was really early. Any walk of life, you'll know who Stan Lee is, nerd or not. Exactly. Like I said, I compare him to Muhammad Ali. He's just that beyond iconic. So, yeah. Let's see here. It's Amber Nicole. 1922. Yep. He was there for Prohibition, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, and 17 presidents, starting with Warren Harding. Wow. Oh man. When I heard the evening, yeah, it is. I mean, I was actually on top of a ladder whenever I heard the news, and I yelled down to the guy I was working with, and he's in his 60s, big biker dude, long beard. And I said, yeah, Stan Lee passed away. And to be honest, he actually got a little bit teary-eyed. He was like, are you kidding? Like, he thought I was joking with him. And I said, no, that's real. I checked multiple news sites. It wasn't one of those hoax things or anything like that. It was real. And he's like, man, I don't know how I'm going to tell my grandkids. They actually like know and care who Stan Lee is. You got to think, that's 2 generations past me that know who Stan Lee is. And now he's got to go home, or since then, and actually tell him, like, yeah, Stan Lee passed away. So, like I said, no more cameos. And that's pretty damn sad. Let's see, what was it? Best Stan Lee cameo was in Kevin Smith's Mallrats. I forgot that he did a cameo in that, but it would make sense. Because, you know, Kevin Smith is one of those king of the nerds that we have out there. A guy with an actual way to bring it out there and represent the nerds properly, like a Chris Hardwick and things like that. Yeah, sorry, the internet thing's fixed. I've got something I've got to install, and I bought it a couple days ago, and I just haven't put it on because I really wasn't expecting to stream today. Tandis, I appreciate you stopping in for a little bit, man. I'm sorry I didn't get to say hi. My internet's a little buggy. But Tandis, get out there and work. Thank you so much for stopping in, man. We love finding Stan in the Lego Marvel games. Oh, that's right. I forgot he's in those too. But yeah, so I mean, of course, you know, if you got a pop collection, you gotta have a little bit of Stan Lee out there. The Walmart exclusive. I have another one, but I couldn't dig it out in time. It's pretty much buried back there. So, but yeah, so we got this, a little bit of honor to Stan Lee, and you know, we all knew this day was coming. There's no way around it, but you just didn't know it was going to be this day, you know. The DC creator, but everyone knows Stan Lee. I mean, it depends on. You got to think about this. Multiple people, and now to be completely fair, Stan Lee didn't do it all himself. A lot of it was Steve Ditko's art. That's what brought these characters to life, to the pages, and you know, it wasn't. If it wasn't for the team of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. But the thing is, Stan Lee took it upon himself to be the face of Marvel, to be the face of these characters. And most people didn't. They created this character, and it's okay, cool, there's Green Lantern, or there's Superman, or whatever. But he took it to the time to actually reach out to the fans, talking in the back of the comic books with some of the people. It's like, hey, you want to write your letters in? I'll write you back. Like, that is really what changed the game for comics, because when he started, comic books were for like children, like small children, and he brought it to a different level where people could actually read it and like it and understand it with a cohesive story. I hope there's a special place. Hang on. I hope that there is a special place for all those that made Stan Lee. Oh, I agree with you, Raven. It was just sad to watch some of the damn interviews and things. It's like, no, this man should be living the high life with people waiting on him. But no, they're just trying to take that last little bit of money and stuff. Fun fact, the only Marvel series with no Stan Lee cameo is Blade. Yeah, that would make sense too. Blade was like a trial run. They were trying to figure it out. And I don't think, I need to check. Yeah, he didn't invent Blade. He didn't create Blade. Blade was built by somebody else. I believe that Spider-Man Far From Home might be the last time we'll see Spider-Man make a cameo. Possibly.
Hosted.
Skogum, thank you, man. Very possibly. It's sad to be moved to tears. Not for me. I never knew the man that I like. That's just me. It is. You know, it's sad because he did touch everybody in one way or another. If I'm not mistaken, the DC creator was the DC creator was a co-creator with Stan Lee. More than likely, I mean, he worked with so many people across the board. I think, what's his face? I cannot think of the guy who made Green Lantern amazing. He's in charge of DC now, but my brain's not working right. Juba dooba dooba dooba, joo dooba doob, dooba doob doob, doob 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 doob. But yeah, I mean, that, like I said, we're not going to do a long show today. We're just hanging out for a little bit, you know, sort of chatting and paying a little bit of attention out there. I mean, everybody today is talking about the passing of Stan Lee. Like, I'm not a trendsetter of any way. I'm not a newsbreaker. But I do like the idea of, you know, talking it out with everybody, because like I said at the beginning, my opinions and how I feel is completely different than Fatality's or Raven's. So, what about Punisher? There's no cameo. Oh yeah, the Punisher movies. Oh God, yeah. There was 2 of them, right? I think, if I remember right, there was a Warzone and then just the Punisher. That's what makes you lovable. It's true. Sometimes I'm on point with it. But yeah, so I do have a couple of Stan Lee comic books, and let's see here. I think these are a bit too late in the game for actual Stan Lee. I gotta find them. I had to bring this thing down here, and I didn't have a whole lot of time. Okay, that's all black suit. Where's the good ones? Back here. Here's the actual Stan Lee books. That's right, the Punisher. Was that Dolph Lundgren that was in that? Yeah, the Dolph movie. There you go. The Dolph one, I had it on tape. Butt naked Dolph as Frank Castle. So yeah, this is I think this is the oldest Stan Lee book that I have, which is actually the Amazing Spider-Man number 42. And this is old school. This is super duper old. But this is actually the very first appearance of Mary Jane, and this is an official Stan Lee book. All that Stan Lee made more memories than I can count. It is. It's true. You know. It's. I mean, he's always been in everybody's lives. Oh man, a lot of people are like, you shouldn't touch that, but you know, sometimes you gotta show what's going on here. I was trying to see if it had the write-in thing at the back. Yeah, here it is. So this is what Stan Lee changed the game with, right? It was with these. People, fans, could write in to Marvel with their letters and talking about how they like certain things about Spider-Man or Fantastic Four or whatever. And Stan Lee and the crew would actually write them back. And that's really what changed the game, because people over at DC were not doing that. Let's see if this actually had a Stan Lee thing. Because a lot of times he would have it at the front. Let's see here. Sometimes he would have like a little a piece or whatever. And I don't remember if it was in this or not. But yeah, like this is just beautiful. Like, this is what changed the game for comic books today. It was just fantastic. And since we got it out, we might as well show it. I gotta be real careful with this. The very first appearance of Mary Jane, right there. Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot. I have Stan introduce Spider-Man to you in PS1 Spider-Man so iconic and legendary. Oh, yeah. Most defiantly right there, man. All right, I got to be real gentle. Ooh, I might do that later. Just so I can have two hands and a lot of focus. Let's see what else I got here. See, a lot of my stuff is not super old. I mean, it is Spider-Man related, which is, you know, I mean, it's still Stan Lee's creation, but that book is actually Stan Lee. Whereas, you know, Stan Lee wrote Amazing Spider-Man. This is 151, and I think from what I read, he did only way up to 110 or 112, something like that. So this is actually after Stan Lee stopped writing for Spider-Man. He was still majorly a part of it. You know, he had a hand in it, but he wasn't the solid writers. This is, like I said, this is 151. And of course, one of the biggest iconic books, and this one's not in the greatest of shape, but yeah, right there. B-Twin. Thank you, buddy. But yeah, this is 122, which actually is the death of Gwen Stacy. You know, I do have some legendary books, but most of my stuff does not go super old with it. And sometimes it makes me sad, but I know that stuff is super expensive. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. Sorry, us people trying to sell their Stan Lee pops for $500 now. Yeah, exactly, dude. 100%. They're just trying to cash in. They don't care about the memory. They don't care about what he stood for and what he helped out in the world. They only care about that almighty dollar. And the thing is, the people buying it are just as damn stupid. Let's see here. He really sucks you in, like scooting you up to the kids, someone reading a book so enticing. Moneymaker, New Year Beyond. Yeah, I mean, even in the wake of this, and a part of me, as soon as I heard the news and stuff, I was like, I probably got to do a small stream. You know, just a little bit of talk and hang out and just see how people are doing. But last year, I missed my opportunity to talk about Adam West passing away. Adam West was Batman for a very long time, and it's still a very iconic TV show. And when he passed, I think I was in the middle of one of these breaks or something, and I was like, no, I'm on a break and stuff, and I really should have done it. And I knew, you know, that's like a year later, and I've regretted it. And I knew today, if I did not get on to at least talk about and, you know, share a little bit of fun and insight towards Stan Lee, then I would definitely regret it for a very long time. Lost a fist fight with the Grim Reaper. I mean, Betty White's still kicking ass. So yeah, yeah. Sad people do that crap. You're right. V Twin, I see you, man. I appreciate it. Okay, guys, I'll be watching, but I have to run out. But I have run out of energy again. Budka, it's all good. I understand you are kicking ass on your own right, and congratulations on winning the championship last night. Um, yeah, it is. It is. No, that happens. It has always happened prior to eBay, prior to those selling sites. Whenever somebody major passes away, their memorabilia, their stock goes automatically up. It's part of it. The reason is because they're not going to make any more. You can't get another Stan Lee autograph. It's not going to happen. So a lot of times it's people saying, hey, I would really like a Stan Lee autograph. I never got a chance to get one. So now they go to look for it and the price is jacked up sky high. That's the reason for it. What it ain't, finally got my Twitch to work. It's all good, Sea Chicken. I appreciate you keep trying, man. Stam and Adam were my childhood. They were mine. I mean, they were everybody's. They were everybody's. Like, you got to think, Batman was on TV before Sea Chicken was born. Like, those guys are iconic. They are trendsetters. They changed the game. I mean, more so Stan Lee, but still, it's just part of it. Let's see here. Boodka watched the archive earlier. She's proud of Virtual Bood. Let's see. A Kargot. What's going on, man? A true hero that will be kept alive by us. Exactly. I mean, there's a quote that I'm saving for the end of the show, but it perfectly sums it up, and I think it's how I've been able to deal with it, because I've been reading people's statements and stuff that they posted on Instagram and a few other places. I've been reading it. When people heard the news, some people cried, and that's acceptable. It's acceptable for somebody who is involved in your life, no matter who you are. But for how I've felt, I have sort of, let's say, held back the tears. Maybe it's the shock hasn't hit me, or maybe it's because I have embraced a different calling, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Epic final battle with a jacked up supervillain. I never got the chance to meet Stan Lee. Saturn, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I got in a tangent, man. Saturn, appreciate you stopping in, buddy. Good to see you. How's your day been? Some jacked up supervillain. Joey, how was your experience with Stan Lee? I was about to talk about that. No, I kept looking for Mischief. I have no idea. I have no idea what it was. I mean, he was 95, and at 95, it's not going to be something like, he was jumping a dune buggy in the desert. It's going to be something stupid like pneumonia or something like that. I did hear that he got rushed to the hospital this morning. I think it was early this morning, something like that. I remember watching Adam West Batman when I was a kid. Oh, I know. It's Adam West iconic. And, when I was thinking about this, I was like, I should have done a show. Just a small little talk, a quick show talking about Adam West, and I didn't. And I just knew that I had to do today. I did cry a little bit. I mean, I'm not talking about openly weeping, especially because, like Swap Meet said, it's somebody you never knew. You never had, some people did, but you never had a sit-down conversation. You didn't know him as a person, but you knew his work. You knew what he put on the pages to make these pieces of paper reach out and touch you in an iconic way. I'm sure that there's stories in comic books, whether it was written by Stan Lee or not, he took pretty much like this kids thing, this thing that only little infant children look at. Oh, it's a cartoon book. He took that and made it a worldwide phenomenon that people like me, like you guys, can then sit around and talk about. There's nobody like that anymore. There's nobody. Like, you got to think about this. Spider-Man. The world knows Spider-Man. You could sit down and have a conversation with anybody on the planet. Doesn't matter what color, race, religion, anything. You can have a conversation about Spider-Man. Man, I like this color suit. Oh, I like this suit. I like when he did this. Do you remember when his Uncle Ben died? That's very similar to me. My dad died. Stuff like that. You can sit down and have a conversation with these things that were on paper because Stan Lee created them in a way that made you feel for them. And that is worldwide. And nobody does that anymore. People started writing comic books later on that made you feel the same way. But when you talk about trend setting, Stan Lee is the man. Mischief diffused a bomb while skydiving. There you go. Carl's bark and Don Rosa was one of my childhood memories. There you go. Let's see here. And I got to see his Bat car last Christmas. Yeah, probably he was gonna jump in a dune buggy in the desert. Makes sense, right? He had some health problems a few months back, but nobody knew. Yeah, exactly. It's the thing. You know, when you're that age and you're that, you know, synonymous, you want to keep your life kind of private. Glad I got to see a con panel with Stan Lee. He was funny and still sharp. Yeah, he never lost it. He never lost it. You know, like you said, sharp to the end, and that's truly all you can hope for. You know, a friend of mine, he's really big in the comic industry. Like he knows more about comics. I'm sorry, he's forgotten more about comic books than we all know combined together. And his quote was, "We all knew this was going to happen. It just happens to be today." And I'm like, that's very well put. People under a rock know Stan Lee. Yo, V-Twin. Yeah, one of my favorite characters in Spider-Man was the newspaper chief. Yeah, J. Jonah Jameson. So I actually do have a list of the characters that Stan Lee created. And it is... this is just what he created that people know of. And it says approximately 362 characters. Now, not all of them are iconic, but all of them do have their place in the universe. Like Ali said, this is a newspaper article creator guy. But he was told in a way that made people remember. And that's part of it. Let's see here. I'm gonna read a couple of them just because there's a few that I didn't know. Abomination, Absorbing Man. Let's see here. Ant-Man. The Avengers, with the exception of Captain America. Captain America was not a Stan Lee creation. Some people like to think so, but he was not. Stan Lee was recreated from a 40s. Captain America was recreated from a 40s comic that they got their hands on, and that's when they changed it to him. Stripperella. Yep, you're not wrong. That's real. Let's see here. Beast, Beetle, Black Bolt, Black Panther, Black Widow. These are all in alphabetical order. The Blob, Betty Bryant, Captain Marvel. Oh, there's a guy named Catman. Not Listwitz, FizzKid. Cyclops, The Daily Bugle, Daredevil, Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom. Let's see here. Ego, the Living Planet, Electro, Falcon, Fantastic Four, Fing, Fang, Foom, Richard Fisk, Kingpin. Let's see. Nick Fury, Galactus, Giant Man. There's a lot more. I'm just trying to skip around. Jean Grey, Groot, Hawkeye, the Hercules version of Marvel Comics, the Hulk, the Human Torch, Iceman, Invisible Woman, Iron Man, J. Jonah Jameson, the Juggernaut, Kangaroo. Yeah, Kangaroo. That's one of those old ones. Kraven the Hunter. Let's see here. The Lizard. Magneto. Man-Thing. And there's a bunch more, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'll recreate. I'm sorry. My grandma is almost Stan Lee's age, and I can only imagine how much he's seen and done. Maybe you should chat with her. Ask her a little bit of stuff. Richard Fisk, also Wilson Fisk. Yeah, same deal. And I just saw Ant-Man and the Wasp a few days ago. Did you like it? I might stream Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 and Honor Stanley. That's a good idea. I like that idea. Hulk smash, table Hulk set. Kangaroo Jack. No, not Kangaroo Jack. um, I didn't know of him until around 83 or 84. And that's fine. I mean, but the thing is, it doesn't matter who you are, what age you are, you know of Stan Lee. It's really, really crazy how iconic he truly is. Yeah, check it out. So this is one of my oldest ones. This is 126. And that's actually the kangaroo. Check it out. How funny is that? That's the only reason I read it. Nobody knows who the freaking kangaroo is, but I have it, so of course I know that that's what it is. It's funny that that's the only one you picked out. Jenna Jameson, yes, he created Jenna Jameson as well. Like Swap Me said, Stripperella was one of them. There's a lot of things that he had a hand in. He like elsewhere, not just this. I'm just reading comic book stuff. Let me see here. I'm trying to see. Yeah, okay. Here's a couple of old ones right here. So these, and I don't think I ever got the date. I know these are like 70s, something like that. But these are another one, like, you know, Spider-Man, a book and record set. This is part of that Marvel marketing where they're trying to market to everybody. So how do you do it? You throw in a 45, you know? Like how crazy is that? And it tells a story. It tells a story that's differentiated from what the book is. And this is part of Stan Lee's masterpieces that are still left out there to this day. Kangaroo was in one of the cartoons once. The old school, the whatchamacallits, the Fantastic not Friends. Shit, I can't think of it. It seems it's destiny of a great man to see their goals unfulfilled. Stan was the greatest exception to this. That's beautiful, Saturn. It really is. I was a little disappointed with the movie. There wasn't that much action. It really wasn't. It was one of those movies that, like, it works, but it just... Why? You know, they could have done so much more. Did he help with Deadpool? No. From what I understand, no. Stan Lee never did touch anything with Deadpool. That was done way later. I mean, I'm sure him at Marvel going, yeah, that's a good idea, but as far as creation, no. Wasn't there a Stripperella TV series of Pam Anderson? I think so. I'm pretty sure. Kanga Skidoo. Wasn't Kanga on, wasn't that Mr. Rogers? Kids these days don't know what a record is. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put that up there. A skidoo for you. Not sure when it was, but it's old school. Yeah, I think it was in the 70s. I want to say like 75, something like that. Let's see here. Captain Marvel, again, a different Captain Marvel, but the same one. Let's see. Aunt May, Medusa, Mephisto, Miracle Man, MODOK, Mysterio, Foggy Nelson, if you guys watch the Netflix series, Nightmare, Dr. Octopus, Odin, Harry Osborn, Norman Osborn, the Owl, Karen Page, Richard and May Parker. That's just a given. Lethal, appreciate you being here, man. Pepper Potts, Prowler, Puppet Master, Hank Pym, Quicksilver, Radioactive Man. Let's see here. Rhino, Franklin Richards. I hate Franklin Richards. The Ringmaster, Thunderbolt, Betty Ross, Ronan the Accuser. You guys know him from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Scarlet Witch, Scorpion, my favorite. She-Hulk, right there. Shocker, my all-time favorite. The Sinister Six, the Skrulls, or Skrulls, Spider-Man, Spider-Slayer, George Stacy, Gwen Stacy, Stripperella. It actually shows Stripperella in this. T'Challa, Thing, Flash Thompson, Thor for the Marvel Comics, Toad, Trapster, and then I'm reading the bare minimum of this. Uncle Ben, obviously, the Vulture, the Vanisher, Adam Warlock, the Wasp, Mary Jane Watson, Whirlwind, Wonder Man, the X-Men, Professor X, Yondu, and Baron Zemo. So, I mean, um, if you're talking about like iconic things that you guys have seen in films, pretty much he created it all. Let's see here. I know I missed it. Fun. Lethal, good to see you, man. Fatality, I know what a record is. Topanga was better. It would be nice to get the 60 Spider-Man cartoons. Yeah, I think it's Spider. It's not Spider-Man. It's Fantastic Friends, is it? Maybe I'm thinking wrong. No sponsors tonight. There you go, Fatality. Sup, everyone? Guess you're doing a tribute stream. A little bit, man. Just a little bit. I like superhero TV shows that had hosted. What? I like the superhero TV show he had hosted. Oh, yeah. Who Wants to Be a Superhero? I actually showed. It wasn't too long ago. I actually showed the comic books that go with that. So it was one of those things. Like we talked about it. We brought it out. Stan Lee was part of it. He wanted to make the next superhero. It was a really cool, very different type of reality show. I know it had 2 seasons, and I watched both of them. And there was another one that he came out. So it was Spider-Man's Amazing Friends. There was another one that he came out with not too long after that. It wasn't a superhero thing, but it was like, who can create the next superhero? But yeah, I agree with you, Sea Chicken. It was awesome. It said that Captain Marvel and Avengers 4 will be cameos. I believe so as well, because all that stuff has been filmed, and it's all it's doing is being edited and fine-tuned right now. So they're going to do it right. They're going to make it right. And I can't remember who had said it, but probably it's going to be Spider-Man. The newest Spider-Man movie is going to probably be the last one that he's got a cameo in. What's going on, little French lady? Good to see you. Yeah, looking forward to Captain Marvel. I think it's going to be great. I really do. Just a couple more things. I did actually get the opportunity to meet Stan Lee. I mean, it was through a con, so it wasn't anything spectacular or anything. It wasn't like a one-on-one sit-down. He's like, oh, Nerdy Effect, Excelsior, please sit, have some tea. No, it was I paid a F-ton of money to meet the man who created a lot of my childhood, and it was so worth it. And I actually talked to a couple other people that were in line, just hanging out with me, that this is probably something you need to do. This was a couple years ago. This was like 5 or 6 years ago. I actually talked to a couple more people in line, and today they didn't thank me, but by posting their picture that they got with Stan Lee, it was a way of thanking me. But yeah, you get, some people met him more than once, but you get one time to meet an iconic legend. And at that point, money is no object. So yeah, I actually got to watch him physically sign this book that was a gift to me. This book was a gift to me by a friend of mine. He said, here, I found this at a pawn shop for you. I think it'd be great. So I actually took it. This is Spider-Man 116, and there is the official seal of it was signed by Stan Lee. Look at that, Excelsior approved. So yeah, I actually got to sit there. I remember going through the line, and he's behind the table, and he's signing the autographs, and he minimum chat, but at least enough to say hi and all that stuff. So yeah, they you handed them, and then they kind of walked down with you, right? And they slid the book under, and he goes, it just a little nod to it, because a lot of people were having him sign in pops and things like that, lunch boxes and stuff, and comic books are always one of the big things that get signed. But when you get older stuff, and you got to think, I think his last book was 110, but this is 116. So he still had a major part in this operation. And he was in the background going, yeah, let's make him do this, and with that Stan Lee iconic voice. So that he looks at these older ones and still, like we said, sharp as a tack. He's like, yes, I remember this one. It's good to see this in pretty damn decent condition all these years later. Somebody obviously cared about it, loved it enough, and then here I get to say, I like this, Stan Lee, and I said, I remember I said, thank you very much for all that you've done, and he says, you're welcome, and I was just like, oh my And then after that, believe it or not, was actually the photo session with Stan Lee, which, I just got out the line with him. It was like maybe 2 hours later or something like that. I just got out the line. So I went back in a different line to wait to get the picture to be taken. And, super long line. He's in a chair, he's doing his, Stan Lee iconic pose or whatever. And pretty much everybody that walked in there, he said hello to. I mean, it wasn't like you didn't get to talk to him, not really. But, you got to know that was the man that created so much. And so you come in there and there's like, he was across the table of me about an hour ago, 2 hours ago. And now like, I'm like touching shoulders with Stan Lee and stuff. And it was like, oh my God, it's so crazy, And again, whenever I left, I said, thank you so much for all you've done. He goes, well, thank you, And it was just one of those experiences that you'll never forget. Yeah, exactly, Cargot. So as of 4 or so days ago, Avengers 4 will still be over 3 hours and still being edited. Sounds good. I'm sorry. Big hugs for Dan. Looking forward to Captain America. My favorite superhero is Iron Man because someone can make an Iron Man suit in real life. Very, very, behind this flag actually is my Iron Man tribute because, I do love Spider-Man, probably my top, but Iron Man is probably second because I find myself very in Tony Stark's world without the money. Very ego-driven. So, and that's all from the writings of Stan Lee. Everlasting impression on your wallet, burned a hole, worth it. Gotta go nights and look after Buka. Fizz, I know you're busy, and I know that's been a while since you said it, but thank you, man. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you for being here last night too. Hello, Red in Trance. That's right. It really was. It was totally worth it. Okay. So this is about the length that I wanted to be there. I met Stan Lee at World of Wheels a few years ago. Was it pretty good? Was it worth it? I think every penny that I had that went to it, it was totally worth it. Because you're not going to meet a living legend like that ever again. You never will. They don't make people like that anymore. They make, quick flashes in the pan. Hey, there's George Clooney. I almost said George Clooney. Lethal. There, it's like, okay, there he is. He was Batman once, and he was really good in that one movie. Bye. But what did George Clooney do for the world? I don't know. But I do know what Stan Lee did. So this is what I'm going to leave you with. And I think that this is probably the reason why I'm able to maintain myself for this is I was watching Westworld, the TV show, and there was a quote that they did in it. They talked about when Beethoven and Mozart died. And they said that they didn't die. They simply became music. Because when you think of those classic composers, when you think of Shakespeare, you don't think of the man. You don't think of the guy holding the skull with the weird bald head and the fluffy collar. You don't think of the almost completely deaf man making music in Beethoven. You think of the music. You think of the theater. You think of the arts. And I bill Stan Lee in the same way. He was a man, but today he simply became everything. He became the world. He gave us these places to escape. He will always live on. He will always be a part of us, and he will always be a part of this culture. So I think I'm okay with that. I think I can accept that, and I'll be happy that he's happy. So, Excelsior! There you go. There you go. Yeah, there's nobody else like it. There never will be. So yeah, I think it's all right. All right, I will see you guys later. Probably gonna do some SCW building tonight, and try to liven the mood a little bit. What's going on, Hoax? Good to see you, man. He's a legend, yeah. How do I tell her it's a bad idea? We'll talk about it later, man. We'll talk about it later, Hoax. I'll be on a little bit later tonight. But yeah, so take care of yourselves. Excelsior in a spider's web. But yeah, take care of yourself, and I'll see you guys in the future.